In a small village, there lived an old woman who was always happy. The villagers loved her and often came to her for advice or to share their problems. One day, a young man asked her, "How are you always happy? Don't you ever feel sad?" The old woman smiled and replied, "Life is full of ups and downs. Some days are good and some are bad. But I have learned that true happiness comes from within, not from what happens around us." The young man was curious and asked, "How can you be happy even when bad things happen?" The old woman shared her story. "When I was young, I had a family, my husband and children. We weren't rich, but we were happy. One day my husband fell sick and we didn't have enough money for his treatment. Despite all our efforts, he passed away. It was the saddest day of my life. I cried for days and thought I would never be happy again." The young man listened carefully. The old woman continued, "After some time, I realized that staying sad wouldn't bring him back. My children needed me, and I had to find a way to be happy again. I started looking at life differently. I understood that life will always have good and bad moments, but I decided not to let the bad ones steal my happiness." The young man asked, "But how did you do that?" The old woman smiled and said, "Every morning I tell myself, today is a new day and I will find something to be happy about. Some days are harder than others, but I always find something, even if it's small. Maybe the sun is shining, a flower is blooming, or I see a friend. There is always something to be thankful for." The young man thought for a moment and asked, "But what if something really bad happens? How can you still be happy?" The old woman replied, "It's not easy, but I remind myself that everything passes, even the bad times. When something bad happens, I tell myself, this too shall pass. I focus on the good things I still have, my health, my friends, or simply the fact that I am alive. Happiness is a choice. You can focus on the bad and be sad, or you can focus on the good and be happy. It's not always easy, but it is possible." The young man thanked the old woman and decided to follow her advice. From that day on, he tried to find something good in every situation. Slowly, he realized that his life became better. Even when things went wrong, he stayed positive and found happiness in small things. Soon, the old woman's wisdom spread throughout the village. More people began to understand that happiness isn't about what you have or what happens to you. It's about how you see life. Because of her, the village became a happier place. Happiness is a choice that comes from within. No matter how hard life gets, we can find joy in small things and focus on the good. Life's challenges will pass, but a positive attitude helps us stay strong and content.